máy cứ chạy. Đấy.
If you saw this man for the first time, you would probably remember the unusual shape of his back. But if you spend a day with him, you remember something completely different. During the day, those hands work with heavy pieces of wood. At night, the same hands hold his daughter and feed them spoonful by spoonful. He has 5 children, and all 5 are daughters. But today, for the first time, this house is about to have only 4 of them. The man is my older brother. He was born with a hunchback and has lived with his childhood. But if this story was always about the shape of his back, I probably would never have picked up my camera, because the reason I want to tell his story is waiting behind the door of this house. His main job is carpentry. Every day he works surrounded by the sound of saws, hammers, and the dust. Measure, cut, chassis, build. Then begin again with another piece of wood. Looking at his body, many people might wonder, is work this heavy difficult for him? I think it is, but I rarely hear him talk about it. He simply works day after day. Because whenever he leaves the workshop, 5 reasons are waiting for him at home, and this is where he hard-working man from the workshop seems to become someone completely different. He is deeply attached to his daughters, and they are just as attached to him. After a long day of wood, he still hugs them, passes them, sits beside them. Sometimes he picks up a bowl of rice and feeds one of them spoon by spoon. I have watched those hands hold a saw, a hammer, heavy pieces of wood. But when he comes home, those same hands wrap around his children. If you only pass him on the road, you may never know this side of him. But his working day is still not over. In the afternoon, there are pigs to care for, chickens, ducks, and when the season comes, there is work in the rye field. In a rural family like this, it can be difficult to know when a working day truly ends. And somewhere between all those jobs, He has one small place of his own. Vietnamese beef tobacco. Whenever he finds a few free minutes, he sits down, light the tobacco, and take a long draw from the piece. Sometimes at home, sometimes he carries the pigs to a neighbor's house and sit down for a few stories. A short rest, a little louder. Then he gets back up. But in this house, it is not only a father working hard for his children. His children are also trying to help their parents. The 5 daughters learned early what life in their family required. The older ones do the bigger job. The younger ones do what they can. Sweeping, cleaning, looking after another, helping their parents wherever possible.
Nào lớp mấy? Cháu lớp 10. Học ở trường nào? Cháu chắc không học. Không học nữa, giờ đi làm ở đâu? Hộ chị. À, đi vào miền Nam luôn à?
But one of the 5 sisters makes a much bigger decision. This is the second daughter. After finishing 9th grade, she decides to stop going to school and start working to help her family. Then, when many children are still continuing their education, she had already begun thinking about earning money. What stayed with me was that her father works every day, hoping that his children will one day have an earlier life than he did. But one of those children chose to work, so her parents could have a slightly earlier life too. Maybe in this family, no one wants someone they love to carry too much alone. But if you think life inside this house is always heavy, you may be surprised. Because one of the sounds I hear most often here is laughter. 5 sisters mean this small house is almost never truly quiet. One called out, another teases her sister. Someone talk, someone laughed, and at night, everyone gathered around a very simple family meal. There is no expensive food, no luxury dining room, just a family sitting close together. And if you ask me why this man can wake up tomorrow and begin everything all over again, perhaps the answer is sitting right here around this meal. He does not talk much about grand dreams. What he wants for his daughter is actually very simple. He only wants for them to have better lives than their parents did. But there is something every father eventually has to face. Children grow up, and one day they leave the home their parents worked so hard to build around them. For him, that day has arrived. His eldest daughter has grown up. She meets someone she loves. and they decide to marry. Before the wedding, he told me something I still remember. He knew his family did not have as much as the groom's family, but the two young people truly loved each other, and that made him happy. He says it quietly, but I think behind those words was a worry many fathers would understand. He cannot give his daughter everything, but on one of the most important days of her life, he still wants to do everything he can. In the days before the wedding, the house began to fill. Relatives, friends, neighbors, voice louder when nights fall. A small stars light up. People from the village shine for one another. Young people from the groom's side travel more than 10 kilometers to join the celebration. People sing, dance, laugh. But in the middle of that crowd, I see him again. He is moving a table, then a chair, welcoming another guest, then disappearing back inside. Tomorrow, people will come to take his daughter to her new home. But tonight he still has not stopped working. Perhaps because after more than 20 years, taking care of his children has become something he no longer knows how to stop doing. The next morning, the carpenter, normally covered in wood dust, is gone. He washes, puts on his best clothes, and the little girl who grew up inside this house today has become a bride. Before she leaves her family, they go together to church. Faith has long been part of this family everyday life, and today this church will witness one daughter beginning a family of her own. Red roses are held in people's hands. The brass music begins. The procession starts to move. The bride, the groom, both families, people from the village, and among all of them, I see him. He is not standing in the most important place. He is not the person everyone is looking at. He simply walks quietly, watching his daughter move forward. Maybe this is what being a father means. You spend years teaching a child how to stand, how to walk, how to grow, and then one day you have to learn how to watch her walk forward without needing to hold your hand anymore. At the old time, the bride and groom stand beside each other before the priest, before their family, and before the community that watch them there. They exchange rings and give their consent to one another. From that moment, his eldest daughter begins a home of her own. But on a day filled with big moments, the one I remember most, It's so small that almost no one would notice it. His two youngest daughters are standing beside him. They want some candy, and he is in the midst of their older sister's wedding, quietly unwrap the candy for them. No one applaud, no one turns to look. It is only a father opening candy for his children. But as I watch, I suddenly realize something. One daughter is now old enough to leave her father's arm, while right beside him, the younger girl still needs those same hands. One child is beginning a life of her own. Four others are still grown up, and their father is standing right in the middle between holding on and learning to let go. At one point, he sits down in a row of chairs below the stage. He cracks sunflower seeds, takes a sip of water, and look up at his daughter. After days of constantly moving, finally he sits still. I do not ask what he is thinking. I do not know whether he feels more happiness or more sadness. Maybe a father can feel both at the same time, but there is still one last thing he wants to do for his daughter. He stands up, walks towards the bride, and takes out of the gift her prepared, a piece of warm jewelry for his daughter on the day she lived to begin married life. And in that moment, he thinks again about those hands. The hand in the workshop, the sounds of the saw, the pieces of wood, the beastie, the chicken, the rifle. All those ordinary days flowing one another. I do not know how many days of it later are contained in that gift. And perhaps we do not need to know, because it reaches value. It is not the waste of the world, it is the person who saved for it. And the daughter received it. He gives the gift to her. His daughter smiles. The father smiled too, and in that moment, the man who once worried that his family had less than the groom's family seems to forget all about it. He sees only one thing: his daughter is happy. And finally, the bride has to leave. The house that once has 5 daughters for the first time has only 4. If it was a fairy tale, perhaps this is where I would end. The girl found the person she loved. There was a wedding, her father's bride, and everyone lived happily ever after. But this is not a fairy tale. This is life, and life does not stop after a wedding. The next morning, the sounds of the saw begin again. The pieces of wood are still there. The pigs still need to be fed. The chicken and ducks still move around the jar. And in the field, there is still working waiting. He puts on his familiar work clothes again and begins another day. One daughter has started a life of her own. But at home, there are still 4 girls who call him Dad. When I began this story, the first thing I noticed about him was the unusual shape of his back. I thought, that would be what people remember, but I was young. After watching him work, watching him come home, watching his children run to him, and watching him stand there on the day his eldest daughter left. His back no longer seems like the important thing. When I began this story, I saw him back first, but now I only see a father.